what struggled in EPL Group D, a preview of the playoffs, ankle fracture and visa drama in the RMR, and new dates for Katowice Cologne. Hey everybody, I'm Heku and this is HLTV Peek. Let's get started. Of Group D have ended, so now we know the remaining 3 teams that will continue their journey in the playoffs. These teams are Cloud9, who only lost their final series, a game that had no influence on their standings since the day before they guaranteed themselves a first place finish in the group. The second team is Furia, whose only loss was to Cloud9. The third remaining spot was taken away by Liquid, whose chances were threatened a day prior due to the 0-2 loss to Eternal Fire. If NA's number 1 team lost on the final day, it would have been the Turkish lineup that would be placed in the playoffs. At the bottom of the group, we have Movistar Riders, a team that was undefeated in the groups of the previous season, that won Challenger in Valencia and had a fantastic run in Cologne, did not pick up a single series win in this season. The team's morale was down due to the recent departure of Sampayas and the team's failure to qualify for the European RMR. Besides all of this, we also saw a small pleasant surprise from one of the biggest North American organizations. After getting only 1 win in Season 13 and none in 14 or 15, Evo GNSS stopped their EPL losing streak by winning against not 1 but 2 European teams. Now let's just hope that their big project will help the main team keep the trajectory of their progress in an upwards direction. Now that all of the games of the groups have concluded, we know who is facing who in the first games and what matchups we might potentially see in the semis. The most exciting series of round 12 is the one between Navi and Heroic, and in its following quarterfinal, the winner will meet G2. On the other side of the bracket, we have a high chance of seeing a FaZe vs Cloud9 in the quarterfinal. And since the potential Grand Slam winners and Navi are on the opposing sides, we can potentially get a redo of the Cologne Grand Final. And while most EPL teams were trying to avoid burnout by not practicing and just watching demos, for some other teams, the grind never stopped. On top of all of their EPL games, Eternal Fire played 3 best-of-1s on Saturday and 2 best-of-3s on Sunday. It was chaotic and most likely really stressful, but this resulted in Eternal Fire qualifying for the Blast Fall Showdown. Some other names that qualify for the showdown are Tyloo, Vertex, Team 1, Ecstatic, Sangal and Fluxo. The big names that we will unfortunately not see in this iteration of the tournament are Mouse, Fnatic and Ants. The real RMRs will start in a week, but a few teams are facing difficulties in bringing their full lineups. Some players, most of which are Russian citizens, are still facing problems obtaining Schengen visas. K23, OneWin, Aurora and Smuya's bench heroes are all eagerly awaiting responses from their local embassies. We already know that Aunker has been ruled out of the RMR following a rejected visa application, and at the moment, the team is waiting for Calix's visa decision. If the Turkish player doesn't obtain the required permission, the team's only chance to attend would be the use of an emergency stand-in, something they have not yet been granted permission for at this time, according to Smuya. According to ESL's rulebook, teams are allowed to use 1 substitute player, and bench heroes decided to put Thomas in this role. The British player is now set to replace Aunker on the lineup, but without Calix, there would still be 1 player short and would not be able to compete. If bench heroes are to miss out, the rules state that they will be replaced by Illuminar, a team that finished 7th in the last open qualifier. And while some players cannot travel due to the lack of needed documents, Config will not join Astralis in Malta due to a complicated ankle fracture. Yes, you heard me right. Config hurt himself. Again, this is not the first time he will miss several weeks of action following a serious injury. Previously, when he was still a part of Complexity, he was sidelined from the competition for nearly 2 months after he had broken his wrist. Thank God he's not American, because otherwise even the Astralis salary would not cover his bills. Due to Config's injury, Astralis will bring in their substitute player, Mr. Some other unexpected subs that we might see at the RMR are Electro for G2, Snacks for Vitality, and Fox for 00 Nation. Besides that, one guy decided to unretire. It is none other than Zeus, who is gonna coach the recently qualified for the RMR team, Uplano. So it'll be really nice to see him back. ESL have announced the dates for the 2023 editions of IM Katowice and IM Cologne. The playing stage for the events will start on January 31st and July 25th, which means that the Polish LAN will occur 2 weeks earlier than its 2022 edition, while the event in Germany will run 2 weeks later compared to the previous year's iteration. So next year's edition of IM Cologne will fall into the later part of the season for the first time due to the CSPPA's changes to the official summer tournament break, which moved the interval a month earlier compared to the previous years. This decision to run the break earlier was made in order to split the year into 2 more even seasons. So in the next episode, we'll summarize the results of EPL, prepare a preview for the RMRs, and probably give some updates on important news. Until then, I don't know, make sure you're getting enough vitamin D and we peak in a week.